So a few months ago, I put a post on my channel about which one of these four sands that you guys use. And surprisingly, it was black diamond blasting sand. So we're gonna take a closer look into these four and what they look like up close. All right, something I do want to show is, I guess, how dirty they are straight out the bag. So I've just prepared four clean containers with just regular tap water, so we can try this experiment. Let's actually go with the number one choice, which was the black diamond blasting sand. This is, what is a 50 pound bag. I believe all those four different types are 50-pound bags. This one, I want to say it was about $12, maybe 15. It was sub 20. So for 50 pounds for a substrate for under $20, that's you're not going to get that at a pet store. So if it said aquarium grade here, you know, that would jack up the price like 5 times. But the main thing about black diamond blasting sand is that it's black. So what I used to use it for was my soil cap. So when I use a dirty tank or use any like aqua soils, it's really difficult to plant in those just by themselves. So I would take any one of these actually, but I used black diamond blasting sand just because it kind of camouflaged in with it, since the soil and the sand are both black. It was, you know, indistinguishable. So I would just put like an inch layer on top, and it made planting so much more easier. Out of these, the black diamond blasting sand is obviously the most different of colors. If you want that dirt soil color, then this is going to be your go-to. So it's a little bit different, but let's take a closer look at it. But I don't know if it's going to cooperate. So also, out of the substrates, this is probably going to be the most difficult to find. I've only been able to find it at Tractor Supply stores, and luckily we have them around here. But other people are not so lucky. Reading from like Facebook or like any kind of forums, it's really hard to find. Let me give you a closer look. So that's what it looks. Of course. Well, all right, that's what it looks like. So you can see that it's not completely solid black. It's shiny. It's got like little copper specks in it. I don't know if you guys can make that out. But yeah. So it is coal slag. But the thing about this, along with all the other substrates here, is that it's completely inert, which means it's not going to change your water chemistry at all by buffering your pH or, causing ammonia or anything like that. What I've learned from personal experience from using black diamond blasting sand is you've got to rinse it a lot. It's tough because what I do is I just put a bunch of it in a 5-gallon bucket. I agitate it with my hand while the hose is going. And this can get stuck under your nails, and sometimes it hurts. So be careful when doing that. But we're just gonna, it's almost a level cup. I'm gonna toss that in here so you guys can see what it looks like, all right? So as you can tell, or not tell, there's already some pieces floating to the surface. It's already made the water cloudy, and this is just pouring it in. No agitation. It's already got the lighter particles that float to the top. Maybe if I move them around, they'll sink. But a lot are just coming right back up. This, I've also noticed, when you start to wash it, has like a little film layer of like, might be oil. So you just thoroughly want to wash that. So we'll just let that sit there. Next, we can go to all-purpose sand, play sand. This is by Colorscapes. I believe this was Home Depot. And this bag, for sure under $4, like 3 something. So it is one of the cheaper ones. Reason I like using this one is it gives it more of a natural look. I'm trying to measure about the same. You can see that right there. It is more of a natural look. It looks just literally like sand, like it's at the bottom of a riverbed. The downside to this is the particles are very fine. They are, for the most part, generally the same size granules. There are, some little differences because it has like small pebbles. But you are going to have issues with this stirring up when you're doing water changes, any gravel vacs, if you've got, power heads or canister filters or even hang on the back filters that are too strong, it might swirl it around or it might create that little crater of where the water comes in. If you guys know what I'm talking about. But it is the finest of them all. So you can already see as I'm pouring it in, it's just getting kicked up everywhere. So this is going to take a little bit to settle. Any debris that you don't want in there, like this might be like a small wood chip that will float to the surface, and we'll just let that sit. The next one probably has been my favorite. I've used it a lot, and I've used this in my shallow oil tank. I've used this. What do I use this with? Use this with some plecos. What else? I don't know. It's in this betta tank right here. I've used this a lot more than I have, I guess, the other ones. So this is pool filter sand. This bag, I want to say it's a Menards bag, and it's probably about 10 to 12 bucks also. It's also 50 pounds. I have a different type of pool filter sand that I got from an actual pool store that was lighter in color. So that one was almost white. This one is more tan. So if you go pool filter sand, know that there are different shades depending on the brand. Let's get a close-up of this. So this is what pool filter sand looks like. It looks, very similar color to the play sand, except if you look closely, you can see the granules are a little bit bigger. So that's why people do like this. It's cheap. It's not as fine as, the play sand or the all-purpose sand. So it won't get kicked up around so much. This is a little clumpy. So that's that. And last but not least, we got the pea pebbles. I feel like this is more than 50 pounds, but I think it is 50 pounds. This was about the same price as the regular sand, under $4. This one was from Home Depot. I think they have a couple different brands. I think Quikrete also makes a brand, but I've been using this forever, so I know that it's fine. I have this in my 55-gallon. I have this in the divided betta tanks, my Riverscape. I think that's it. But I like using this one a lot. I just had to buy a new one because I ran out of the other bag. Let's see. So one thing when you do get this bag is it's going to look more tan than it actually is. I don't know if it's just the sand and all the gunk in the bag that makes it look like that, but here's what it looks like straight out of the bag. So it is like a very beige color, but then a good number of these rocks do turn really creamy once they get washed out. And you can see there's all the beige. So here we have it. We've got the 4 different ones. You can see like just initial wash. Obviously it looks like the Black Diamond blasting sand has been the cleanest, but I feel like you still have to rinse this just as much as the other ones. Let's get a close up. So if you can see on the top, you can see like little oily film on the surface right there. So that's all got to be removed. This one's pretty consistently cloudy. This one has some really fine debris on the top with those bubbles. And then that one just looks like it's murky, muddy, dirty. So actually looking at it from here, it doesn't look like the Black Diamond blasting sand is too dirty. But just like you saw, there is that little film. You do want to wash these. I mean, when I wash them in buckets, it's at least 10 times. Eats at least 10 times of an empty and refill, and then continuously agitating it with my hands. When you get to the bottom, if you are pouring from bucket, there is going to be a lot more heavier debris, heavier, what's that word? Sediments, heavier sediments that will just stay at the bottom just because they're not going to float to the top. So you just have to really dig in there to get them out. I think the pea pebbles are the worst with that because there are really small, it's almost like mud, sand, clay, something that makes the bottom of it really hard to clean. Then these two, aren't too bad. I think the pool filter is the easiest to clean because it is a smoother texture, and it doesn't stay suspended as long as the sand would. So if I'm like sand, like I have to wait for it to settle down to the ground before I can agitate it again. And then black diamond blasting sand, it's fine, but there might be more jagged pieces, so you do want to be careful for that. So a lot of people have issues with black diamond blasting sand if they're using bottom dwellers like corredoras, because they think like the barbells or the whatever they have is gonna get damaged by them. I don't know if that's true. I haven't had that issue, but I also don't have that in my quarry tank. I've only got one quarry tank, and that's not in it. But this guy, yeah, is super muddy. So there's just quick agitation. Obviously, it still looks like the black diamond blasting sand is clearer, but I still do recommend a nice thorough wash. Maybe a little less than other ones, but you can obviously tell by the water quality. If it's coming out clear, you're probably clear. But give it an extra couple of rinses after it comes out clear, just because you don't want anything oily inside going in your tank water. So after that, let's take a look at a couple of my tanks that have this stuff in it. So we've got the bettas here, the juvie bettas, and that is pool filter sand. I thought there was a mix of sand, regular sand in there, but I'm almost certain this is all pool filter. So with pool filter sand, it is going to get, like you can see right here, a layer of algae, just because it's so light that I think, with the actual light on the tank, it just creates that algae. You can see those algae spots right down the middle of the screen. Another thing I don't like about pool filter sand is it creates algae clumps, and they're really hard. So if we go in here, like this guy right here, it's just pool filter sand, but it's just got so much algae on it that it's solidified. Obviously, you can break it up, but you can see all these little bunched up pieces. Like, let's see, that one just shattered in my hand. So that's something I don't like. Like here's my quarries. I've got the pea pebbles in there. So that's a layer of Eco Complete, which was on the bottom, but because they are quarries, they all kind of dug it up. You can look right there. That is my pool filter sand. Yeah, you can't really see anything else. Here, my divided tank. I like this combo of the sand and the pea pebbles. Like you can see, the pea pebbles, they're a very natural look, anywhere from dark gray to almost white. And I like that it looks really natural. What else do I have? My Medaka tank. This one, I believe, was just play sand. You can't really, it's just tan on the bottom. Doesn't really do much. This is, I guess, my dirted tank. It had a bunch of dirt on the bottom, and I capped it with regular sand, I believe. This is my oldest tank, and I can't remember. You can kind of see the layers down there. You kind of make out the sand right in the middle. And we've got my Mbuna tank, my Salosize. This one I used pool filter sand, also with aragonite, just to buffer the pH, but They just kind of kicked it up everywhere. And then the newest one that I set up, also like the divided tank, is my rummy nose tank, and I've got the pebbles, and this is just regular play sand. I really like how that turned out. See, I'm getting that fungus funk on the new branch that I put in. Just kind of trying to waterlog it. And I think actually one more tank. My shellies. My shellies, just like my African cichlids, have some aragonite, but this is all pool filter. This is the lighter pool filter sand, and not the tan beige one that I'm doing the demonstration on. But I really wanted like a light sand, so I got this pool filter sand first, and then I wanted a more natural, so I got the other bag. That's kind of how it looks. I guess those are all my tanks really that have substrate. Obviously using aqua soil over here. And then this one, I don't think has any of them. This one is my fluval kind of columny tank. It's got a mix of aqua soil, I think it's fluval stratum with eco complete, and I believe I did put some black diamond blasting sand in that mix. I'm not 100% sure. And then whatever that red one was, fluorite. I think it's fluorite. And that also got kicked up by all these Malaysian trumpet snails, my brown shrimp. So yeah, guys, out of those 4 substrates, incredibly cheap. They're probably like a fraction. They're for sure a fraction of the price of any aquarium sand or gravel that you can get. Obviously, they have downsides. If cost is your main factor of decision making, then 100% any one of these 4, I believe, is best bang for the buck. You're getting 50 pounds, a big quantity. Like any one of these bags, you could do probably 2 20 longs with like, 1 inch to 2 inches of a layer of substrate with no problem. So, so let's say the most expensive one, either black diamond blasting sand or pool filter sand, at the highest, 20 bucks. To get 50 pounds out of that, it's unreal. If you go to a store and just get aquarium gravel or an aquarium sand, you might get a 2-pound bag, maybe 5-pound bag for 20 bucks. I'm not sure. I haven't shopped for those in a while. You might get a 5-pound bag for like, I don't know, 15 bucks. But you're gonna get 50 pounds. I know it's a lot. Let's say you have 1 tank, 2 tank, 3 tanks. It's a lot, but the fact that you can use it for other projects, keep this aside. I literally just keep these in my garage. I just roll up the tops and leave them there, and then just take from them anytime I need to set up new tanks, or I've exhausted the bag and I'll just get another one. So I think with the amount of money you're saving, it's a no-brainer. And quickly, just by looking at this, I just want to recap. It is, this one for sure. This one is a pain to clean. They're all gonna be laborsome to clean, as opposed to aquarium grade substrate, straight from the bag. You're not gonna have an issue. I almost want to rinse these. No, I don't. And really, that's it. I do hope you guys learned something from this video. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.